everybody, and welcome back to Flock's Nest, a sports podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas, reppin' 52, Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens.
As always, I'm Brendan, reppin' 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We got a great episode for you guys today. Obviously, college football just wrapped up with their national championship, so we are, of course, going to talk about that. We're still in the midst of NFL playoffs as the divisional round just ended. So we are also going to talk that. And this is basketball week. So we're going to do a check-in of the NBA, talk all the news, all the going-ons, how teams are doing, how our teams are doing. And we've just got so much to talk about. So we are going to jump right in, starting with basketball.
Yeah, so we got a couple of pieces of news. We'll start with a trade that happened pretty recently. It has Trae Young going to the Washington Wizards in exchange for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert going back to the Hawks. This is a very interesting one. The Wizards are a very bad team, and Trae Young is a very good player. So, kind of rare that you'd see a guy choose to go to the Wizards, because that's what happened.
Yeah.
So a little confused there as to why Trae Young would do that, but all in all, I do think the Wizards got a pretty good deal. CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert are CJ McCollum's a journeyman. He's been around the league. He's fine. But he's not somebody that's going to really be a star. And Corey Kispert's a decent young talent. He's good. But again, I think this move is weird for both teams. I think the Hawks don't really know what they're doing in terms of you trade one of your best players and you don't get a whole lot back for him. And then the Wizards, you get a good player, but you're a bad team. I don't really know what's going on. Honestly.
Yeah. This team has never been good. Michael Jordan buying it did not help.
He doesn't own Washington.
Did not help.
He owns Charlotte.
How do you own the Wizards?
He owns the Hornets. Or did own the Hornets.
Who's the Wizards?
I have no idea.
Did he play for the Wizards? You know what? I'll figure it out.
I think he played there at the very end of his career.
End of his career. Okay, he played that. Okay. They've always been a dysfunctional franchise.
Yeah, they're not good.
They've never been good. They've never won anything. They're just kind of the bottom of the barrel. And I feel bad for their fans, and if you watch the show, I apologize. But also have better standards for your life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a trade. It happened.
Again,
I don't know what you're going to get out of this.
Trae Young requested a trade, and apparently this was his number one landing spot. So,
I'd love to know why.
That's me. I don't get it. Most players, try to go win championships, I guess.
When they
not go to a
get paid
10-win team.
So either they're gonna pay you a fuck ton of money, or
which you're already under contract for the next 2 years. So I don't really see that happening.
I don't know.
So yeah, I don't get it, but at the same time, I don't have to get it.
Yeah,
they can kind of do whatever. And then the other bit of recent NBA news came from, I think, last night or the night before.
Last night?
Golden State Warrior Jimmy Butler sadly tore his ACL and is going to be done for the season. That one was rough to watch.
Yep.
Only saw the replay. Still really rough to watch. Jimmy Butler is a great player and is a key piece of that Golden State Warrior team. So that one was tough.
Yeah. Butler is a great player. I know there's kind of a torrid history in his career, but not all of that's on him. He has a lot of talent. He's been asked to do a lot throughout his career, and I think he and Golden State and their fans really thought that with the push they made last year, this year with everyone healthy, um, they were looking at being a real contender. And when you have Steph Curry still playing at a really high level, you kind of always assume you're going to be a contender.
Yeah.
So this is really a blow to him in his career, especially given his age.
Yeah.
And this is a real blow to Golden State right now.
I don't think this is his only ACL tear.
Yeah, and that's just not. It's not good.
Like, I think he's had a couple.
So, I feel really bad for him, and I hope this doesn't mark the end, but it could.
Yeah, if this is, like I think it is, his second ACL tear, assuming it was the same ACL, it's not. You can come back from one. Coming back from two is a little tough. And he's also over the age of 30. It's like at a certain point, it starts coming harder and harder to come back from injuries. So I'm hoping that it's not too bad and that he can come back because, again, great player, good for the NBA, but just unfortunate and tough.
Yeah.
That was kind of it for like recent news. There was definitely news we've missed. I could not go back and find it all. So we'll kind of cover it as we go. A lot of it is like players that are out for like a couple weeks. So they're not out for the season, but they're kind of just missing week to week. So we might cover those as we go through the teams. Because we're just past the halfway point, or we're just getting to the halfway point of the NBA season. And in the
they just
East,
had the Commissioner's Cup.
The
Knicks won.
Yeah, the Knicks got that one. So congrats to them. It's definitely an in-season tournament.
Yes, it was nice to see Brunson kind of win something. But also that was an argument for Wemby and Wembanyama to try and
get something
add
early.
Something to his career.
He's at least got DPOYs.
Yeah.
He's got something.
Well, sure. Yeah. So that was cool. It was a good game.
Yeah. In the East, no real surprises. I mean, like Detroit being number one is a little interesting. Detroit was very good last year as well, so it's not that surprising that they've taken another step. Boston being this high is maybe a little surprising after they quote-unquote retooled this offseason. Obviously, no Jason Tatum. They trade away Porzingis and somebody else, I can't remember. But, for Boston to be second in the East is pretty impressive, again, considering...
And they had a slow start. We really thought... I remember you and I talking that we didn't think with Jason Tatum out they would struggle as much as they were. So for them to turn it around at the midway point and be sitting where they are is impressive.
And then, you got like the usual suspects, the Knicks, Raptors, 76ers, Magic, all within the playoffs right now. And then in the play-in, things again, pretty usual. You got Cleveland, who had a great year last year, kind of took a step back. Miami, Chicago, and Atlanta. The interesting one for me is who's currently on the outside looking in is Milwaukee. The Bucks and Giannis are currently outside of the play-in, not looking great. So not sure what this means for Giannis' future. Obviously, I feel like he's going to be a guy that wants to be playing for championships every year, and I think he should be. So
I want to talk about this for a second. He played a few nights ago. I do not remember who they were playing, so I do apologize for that. but they were in Milwaukee, and the crowd began to boo.
It was probably them against the Timberwolves because they lost by 33.
Yes, it was the Timberwolves. Um, and the crowd began to boo, and then Giannis booed back. And then was extremely emotional during the game, after the game. I to be really clear, I do not think the crowd was booing Giannis. I think they were booing a team that has Giannis being down 30.
Yeah.
I think that part of the state of Milwaukee is on him. And I do think there's some responsibility to be taken there. And while I respect his loyalty, I think it's time to move on.
Yeah,
He is someone that should be playing for championships. He is not someone that should have a say in roster construction. And it's time to move on.
Yeah, for them to be outside of the playoffs right now is not great. It'll be interesting to see if a trade does develop, and where he ends up going if he does. Yeah. Also in the East, the only other one to really talk about is the Indiana Pacers are the worst team in the NBA, or at least tied for the worst team in the NBA. So obviously, team just went to the NBA championship. Really unfortunate, but this is kind of how much Tyrese Halliburton means to that team.
Yes.
So really
to be
unfortunate.
Without him is, I mean, it shows you his true value and his worth and what he does for that team on and off the court.
Yeah.
That they go from first to worst in his absence.
Pretty much, yeah. So unfortunate there, but that really does it for the East. In the West, Oklahoma City is by far and away the best team. They have a 6-point lead for the top. It's them. They're just gonna be good. They have dropped some games recently. You kind of have to at some point, but they still don't even have 10 losses yet. They're going to be the best team for a while. They just got a really young, good roster.
Yeah.
So you just
they're so young. They're not super expensive just yet.
Yeah.
You're coming off kind of the high of the NBA championship, and they're just rolling. It will be interesting to see how this plays out. We have not had a repeat winner in almost a decade.
Yeah. So we'll kind of.
But they're a good team. They're a lot of fun to watch, and yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah, and then beyond them, San Antonio is second right now in the West. That's been really impressive, especially because Wemby has kind of been in and out of the lineup for San Antonio. I think he's back healthy now, but there was a point where he's kind of in and out. So for San Antonio to be kind of performing the way they are, that's pretty cool. Again, younger team. Obviously, Wemby kind of coming into probably at some point be the face of the league. So that is pretty cool to see. After that,
I think he's a good player. He's got to stay healthy.
Yeah.
And he has to be part of winning something. I understand that he has an Olympic medal. He did not see the court.
It's also silver. So, I mean, you didn't technically win. You just came second.
U.S. won.
Wemby's French. Basketball?
But he played for the U.S. He played for the U.S.
Did he?
He had the option.
I thought
he was able to play. No,
because I thought
for the U.S.
The U.S.
That's why he didn't see the court.
I thought the U.S. made their one Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Apparently, I was wrong.
I thought Wemby.
I thought it was Embiid.
Now I'm not sure.
Now I'm not sure. We're not going to look it up. It doesn't matter at this point. Either way, he either has a gold or he has a silver. And either way, he did not play. So we'll see. Um, Beyond San Antonio, you have Denver in third, which is mildly impressive considering their whole team has been hurt. I am not kidding when I say that. The Nuggets currently are without, at one point this season, had only Jamal Murray from their starting lineup actually starting. Currently, Jokic is out. Gordon is day to day. Brown is out. Cameron Johnson's out. Jokic is out. Valanciunas is out. Um, Pretty much the Nuggets' whole starting lineup, and then their
Is
backup
out.
center is out. Jokic should be coming back here soon. Obviously, reigning, not reigning MVP, but up there, always one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Kind of unfortunate that he's not been playing. He should be back here soon, but yeah, for Denver to even kind of stay afloat with the injuries they've had is
It's impressive.
pretty impressive, and I do think Jamal Murray gets a ton of credit for that. He doesn't get a ton of credit on this Nuggets team for the most part, but I think we're going to start seeing that if the Nuggets can stay afloat.
And just real fast, you were right. He did play for France, and Embiid played for the U.S.
Yeah, I'll say.
So.
Okay. Beyond Denver, you got Houston, the Lakers, and the Suns. The Lakers have been playing better as of late. They've looked pretty good. They just beat the Nuggets last night. So that was a good win for them.
I think they finally have their rotation down with Luka, LeBron, and Reeves.
Okay. I mean, yeah.
So
again, it shows they've been playing better as of late. And then in the play-in, you got the Timberwolves, good team. Golden State, we'll see what the Jimmy Butler injury does for Golden State. You got Portland, who's actually been decent this year. They have slowed down a little bit after a pretty hot start. We'll kind of see where they go, but they've been all right. And then you have the Clippers. But there are three teams all kind of right there with the Clippers. So we'll kind of see who gets that last play-in. Obviously, we're barely to the halfway point in the season. This can all change pretty quickly. And then...
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of your usual suspects. I'm a little surprised Golden State is as low as they are. I know Timberwolves fans are a little upset that they're as low as they are. I think it's funny, but that's a separate thing. Everything else, pretty much the way I would expect it. Obviously, like you said, it can change. We will see by how much and how some of these injuries impact other teams.
And then the last team to really talk about is the Dallas Mavericks, who are one game out of the play-in, but Anthony Davis, I want to say, is going to miss either the rest of the season or the vast majority of the rest of the season with a surgery on his hand, I think, if I remember correctly. But obviously not great for the Mavericks. Cooper Flagg has been good. He is not quite taken over as much as you would probably like if you're a Mavericks fan. But again, he's a rookie. It might take some time.
In basketball, rookies rarely come in and genuinely take over the game because they come in so young and so inexperienced.
So, yeah.
So, this was going to take time.
He does at least look good.
He looks good. There's clear potential there. There's like obvious reasons why he was taken first, like obvious that there's talent and he will develop well, but he needs time.
So it'll be interesting to see if they can sneak away into at least the play-in. Just because I do think it would be kind of fun to see this team in a play-in with Cooper Flagg, see what they got. there, but beyond that, the Mavericks are having a rough season.
Yeah.
Um, Beyond them, it's pretty much just like the Pelicans are probably the worst team in the league. If not them, it's the Pacers. I think it's the Pelicans. Yeah, the Pelicans are just behind the Pacers. So, um, not much else there.
No.
So, um, yeah, that would be the NBA right now. It's been, again, it's a long season. I feel like I notice it more with the NBA than I do with the NHL, even though they're the exact same amount of games. Um, I just think the NBA. I just think how the NBA is played
Yeah.
and how much players sit out, if that makes sense.
The load management in the NBA, I think, makes a significant impact on viewership, and it sometimes makes it hard to watch.
Because I do think like the middle of the seasons where you see that
Yeah.
happen, and that's where we're at.
In
So
in hockey, the only real change you see is a goalie because they don't play back to back.
yeah,
But rarely is the goalie why you went to a game or why you watched a game. Now, not to make this about hockey, but if you watched the goalie fight last night,
yeah,
that's a reason that you
it's
go for the goalies.
it's
Uh,
the first one in a while.
in
I
a
can't
long time.
remember
I
one.
think I'm gonna be honest with you. I would not guarantee this, but I'm so few goalies, like especially to genuinely skate to the other side to go after him. Like he didn't meet him at center ice.
No, he went down
He
there.
was
Well,
like, I'm coming for your ass.
I think to be fair, I think he knew that he had to. Because I think anymore
So,
the refs see you try to meet at center, and that's when
and
they
they
stop
stand
it.
in your way, and
If you just
they weren't
go
having
and do it,
it.
they can't really stop you. Because once you start to fight, no ref is going to really get
No
in the
ref
middle.
gets in the middle of that.
They don't feel like getting punched in the face.
So, but that's a reason that you go for the goalies. Otherwise, it's the bulk of the team,
Yeah,
and they do not do load management. So,
they
I think that is the difference.
yeah. So hopefully the season kind of picks up here soon for the NBA. Obviously, we'll come down the stretch not quickly, but here soonish.
Yeah,
So we'll keep talking about it, but we'll keep it to the monthly review.
sounds good. Then, with all of that, we will move on to college football
Yeah,
as they just had their national championship, Indiana versus Miami in Miami.
yeah. So Miami kind of got to play at home. Kind of lucky. It did not help them win the game. Indiana gets the win, 27-21. So congratulations to Indiana on your national championship. The 16-0 perfect season. So that's really awesome. Um, it's been a while since a team's gone 16-0. So that's really cool. Um, so yeah, Indiana gets the win. It was significantly closer of a game than I thought it was going to be. I think I predicted that they would win by at least 10. They only won by 6. So I'll give a ton of credit to Miami. They kept the game close. Their defense did well. Their running back was very good. Had that nice long touchdown. One of their wide receivers, Malachi Tony, is so good after the catch. And their defensive line, that's another one, is really good. I think they have 2 first round picks on that defensive line. So shout out to Miami. They had a hell of a season, did really well. But Indiana was the best team all year, and they kind of showed it again. They're very disciplined, don't make a ton of mistakes. And when they have to have a play, they get it. That blocked punt for me was that moment where
Yeah.
they just kind of needed a play, and they got it. Um,
For
and then
me, it was Mendoza's final
that
touchdown.
was that was the other one.
Um,
And to me, that speaks more to Mendoza than it does to Indiana.
Yeah.
Because
For well, and for Indiana to go for it rather than kick it,
yeah,
you could have kicked it and you would have had the lead. You did not know that Miami was going to turn around, drive down the field, and score. So to have the play call, to go for the touchdown, not the field goal, and then Mendoza to just. He's not a very mobile quarterback.
yeah, they don't do that very often.
But to see that moment from him and to see him fight for it, that I think that to me was kind of the epitome of what Indiana football's been all year.
And that's
It's whatever it takes in every moment. We're going to have it and we're going to come out on top. And that's how that moment felt. And I mean, it was fantastic to watch.
and I guess for Mendoza, like separately, he was always kind of going to be the first round pick. This year, he's just the best quarterback in college football right now. For me, that moment in that, for me, that run in that moment of the game kind of really solidified it for me.
Yeah.
To put your body on the line to do whatever it takes to win, that was all I needed to see. To know that this guy's going to be the first overall pick and probably a really good player in the NFL.
And the Raiders staff members that were in attendance at that game, I'm sure, had a similar thought process.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They
So,
saw that and went, "Oh, thank God," because they needed it. Yeah. And then
and yeah, congratulations to Indiana, their first national championship ever.
Yeah.
Has been historically a basketball school. Uh, to see the turnaround of this team in the last 2 years and to culminate in this moment was fantastic.
For
and congratulations to them.
Indiana to in a 2 year span under Kirk Cinetti to have lost 2 games in that span, and those 2 games were to Notre Dame last year when they went to the national championship, and to Ohio State, who went on to win the national championship last year, is extremely impressive. I think this Indiana football team um, and this program is going to be really good while Cignetti's there, and while they've got the coaching they do, the style of football they do. Indiana will be fun to watch for years to come at this point.
If you're the Raiders, do you look to see if you can get them as a package deal? If you can get Stignetti
I like
and
the
Mendoza.
thought. I think the NFL is going away from bringing in college coaches just because it's so different.
But who's left on the market?
That is
because
fair.
we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
That is
talk
fair.
about that in just a moment.
To be fair, we will talk about that, and that's probably a good segue to kind of talk about coaches, because I do think there are more than you think. You just can't interview them right now.
I think there's more out there. But so many questions when you're hiring a head coach, right?
Yeah.
Especially a bad team, is can you make us better? I need to draft a quarterback. Can you develop a quarterback? This guy has proven he can develop the quarterback you're getting ready to draft. And he can revamp an entire university's culture. He can take them from worst to first in 2 years.
Again.
And when you look at the talent that's on the Raiders, but the lack of leadership and the lack of a quarterback, I wouldn't always do it. I'm not saying that like every quarterback's college coach should be an NFL coach. I think it's the Raiders, who have just been dying for years. I would take that risk. I would take that shot.
If you're going to do it, Cignetti would be the guy. I think for me anymore, I think because of how college football's played, and how it's changed. It takes a different style of head coach. I just don't think that fits the NFL anymore. Um, but because I think the last one was Harbaugh, was Jim Harbaugh, which wasn't long ago, but Harbaugh also coached in the NFL.
He had NFL
So
experience.
you weren't really picking up a college coach. You're picking up an NFL coach that went to coach college.
Well, and most spend time as a coordinator
Yeah, and that's
in the NFL.
Signetti has never been in the NFL. I'm pretty sure. So,
And maybe not. I would, at least as the next head coach, I would call him about being my OC.
and then I just don't think he'd do that. Um, I think he'd rather coach Indiana and have the success he's
That's
having.
fair. That's fair. I would
Yeah,
just make the phone call.
he's never coached in the NFL.
Yeah, I would still make the phone call.
The phone call would be warranted. I just don't think it's going to happen. But who knows?
All right. Well, with that, we will then kick it into the NFL and talk all of their news as well as the divisional round of the playoffs and all of its heartbreaks and successes, and we're gonna get into all of it.
So we'll start. We have some coaches getting hired. Some of I think 10 of the 10, I think 4 have been filled. In terms of coaching, and the first one was John Harbaugh to the Giants. They've got their new head coach. He's finalizing a deal. I believe it's finalized. He's already done his introductory press conference. That was Tuesday.
Yep.
So John Harbaugh is the next coach of the New York Giants. So that's pretty cool. Dallas could probably speak more to that, but
I think it's a good hire. I'm not going to sit here and say that Harbaugh is the best coach, the perfect coach, all of these things. I think that's redundant and not very analytical. I think what Harbaugh does is bring stability.
I was going to say,
and he brings a culture. And the Giants, for all of their effort the past 10 years, have been missing that. They do not need a genius play caller on either side of the ball. They need someone that knows how to build a staff, someone that knows how to develop a young quarterback, which Harbaugh has proven he can do. Despite the lack of a Super Bowl appearance, he did turn Lamar Jackson into a 2-time MVP, and he gets credit for that. He got Joe Flacco to a Super Bowl. There are a lot of positives that come with him, and a big one is stability and knowing how to work at the position. He is not a first-time head coach the way Dabo was. He is not outdated like some coaches have been on either side of the ball. He understands this league offensively and defensively, and a team that has a lot of talent on it, but it's not being utilized, you need a CEO for.
Yeah.
And that's what John Harbaugh is. So I think it's a great hire. I am a fan of Jackson Dart, so I think this is good as well. He would not have taken the job if he wasn't. I'm very glad he took the job before other things happened this week.
Yeah.
And I am very glad that his ass is in the NFC.
I'm not.
I do not need that. I do think he was the best coach on the market. And to not have him in my division or my conference is something I am grateful for. I wish him and his family nothing but success. I will be watching the Giants to see how that goes next year, obviously.
The Giants will be a very interesting team to watch.
And the move, it's a 45-minute train ride from Baltimore to MetLife. So, I hope this works out for him. I do think he's a great coach. And I respect the Giants not waiting.
Yeah, they weren't fucking
They
about with this one.
knew what was out there. And when John Harbaugh sits at the top of the market with a second-year quarterback, you jump on it.
And they did.
A little bit for what this means for the Ravens, just quickly. It is reported that he's likely to take Monken with him. That I expected. I did not expect Monken to stay anyway. He tried to take some special teams coaches with him. Some of them he's been allowed to take. Some the Ravens have blocked as they are still under contract. So we will see some continuity with our coaching staff, especially on special teams. We will see some changes, obviously, with whatever head coach they hire and with who John Harbaugh is able to and decides to take with him. Yeah. So we won't really know more till we have a head coach, but that is what it's looking like for Giants.
And then my only thought on it is this is definitely a CEO move. For me, I think a lot of this will also come down to what coordinators he brings in.
Yes. I think offensively, Monken is a great choice.
Yeah.
You have, much like Lamar, a dual threat quarterback. We need to teach him how to be more aware of his body and his head.
But I think that's something they can do. I think that's...
when you look at their offense compared to the Ravens, you have a very powerful running back, very talented running back. You have a number one wide receiver. You have you need some pieces at O-line, but this is a great draft for that. I'm going to scream a lot about that as we get closer to the draft, just by the way.
Yeah.
So the things they need, the draft favors them.
They can get.
And I do think Monken is the right type of offensive coordinator for Jackson Dart.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do. But, yeah, Harbaugh
What they do defensive coordinator, that will intrigue me.
Yeah, so Harbaugh to the Giants. The next bit of news we got was the Packers agreed a multi-year contract extension with LaFleur. With Matt LaFleur, not Mike LaFleur. That is his brother. So Matt LaFleur stays in Green Bay. This is probably the right choice, honestly.
I understand being upset,
but
at how things happened.
There's already,
but at least for now, this is the right choice.
There's already 10 openings, which means the pickings for new head coaches is going to be very, very small.
It's getting slim.
So probably
some of us are getting worried.
Who is not getting worried is the Atlanta Falcons, as they also hired their new head coach. They're going with Kevin Stefanski, so they're going with the other hot commodity in terms of head coaches. I think this is a pretty solid hire for the Falcons. I think giving Stefanski a chance to actually do something and have a quarterback is probably a good idea.
I think that is another one that is happy with the choice they made, but a little disappointed. They didn't know other things were going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know that he was like, motherfucker.
Because I'm pretty sure it was like the next day.
Look, I think Stefanski is a good head coach. I think Cleveland is a train wreck. I do not like how Baker Mayfield was handled, but other than that, I think Stefanski is a good head coach. And when you look at Cleveland as an organization, it's either ownership's the problem, the GM's the problem, or it was Stefanski, or they're all crap. This gives us a chance
to find out,
to see who Stefanski is.
And again, he was a 2-time coach of the year, so
in Cleveland.
That has to mean something.
3 seasons where they made the playoffs, he was part of 2 of them.
Yeah.
They've had
So
2 11 or better win seasons. He was a part of both of them.
yeah,
So,
I think that tells you.
unfortunately, I do think you still have quarterback questions.
Yeah, because of the injury. I think,
But
however, if they do, he'll be able to choose
I
what they
think
do.
he will be given the opportunity to pick a quarterback, develop a quarterback, and we will see. I mean, when you have Bijan Robinson and just the talent the Falcons have, Drake London, there's a lot there for Stefanski to play with
Yeah,
and to show us what he can do.
and
I
then
think it's a great hire for Atlanta, and I think Matt Ryan has already earned his year's paycheck.
yeah, I think that was definitely a good idea. They also did bring in Tommy Reese, who was Stefanski's offensive coordinator in Cleveland this year. He's going to be Stefanski's offensive coordinator again in Atlanta. So some continuity there with that. And then they also kept Jeff Ulbrich, who is their defensive coordinator. This past season, they've re-signed him to an extension.
He did a good job,
He
so
was a very good,
I understand that. They
and
had a
I
great
think,
defense.
um,
And in that division, right, your only real competition right now
yeah, is Tampa.
is the Bucks or the Panthers,
Maybe the
and the
Saints.
Panthers made the playoffs with a losing season. So,
If you can just be a little better.
if you can just be middle of the pack in the league, you will win that division.
So yeah, their staff is pretty much filled. At least like the major spots is filled. So Atlanta's pretty much done at this point
Nice.
with their coaching search. Moving on. I think the next bit of news that broke was the Buffalo Bills fired Sean McDermott, their head coach. Sean McDermott fired from Buffalo. They also decided to promote their GM in the same time. If you were to ask me after their playoff loss what the likely scenario was, I would have told you they keep Sean McDermott and fire the GM.
Yeah.
They did the opposite. So I don't really know, is what I got for you. Their owner and GM did a press conference today, I believe. That was, let's just say, interesting. It's a
Brain wreck.
very interesting watch. Their owner kind of threw Sean McDermott under the bus a bunch in that press conference, which was an interesting choice, as this guy has led your team to the playoffs pretty much every year he's been there. No, he's not gone over the hump, and that is saying something when you have Josh Allen, but still. I do think he's done quite well with a insufficient roster when you just look at it on paper. He's done well to get stuff at least out of these players. None of them are really blue chip other than Allen and I would argue Cook. But, he's done well. Really interesting to see him fired. More interested to see the GM promoted.
When you look at an organization as a whole, right? And especially right now, with very specific teams having job openings. You have 2 teams, both with your most recent MVPs. One team has drafted 9 Pro Bowlers in 8 years. One team has drafted 2. One team has stability. They've had 4 coaches in 25 years. One coach has had 7. Or one team has had 7. And then when you come out and you do a press conference, and my owner also talked about holes on the roster, some issues. Need to shore up the O-line. He didn't throw a specific member of the team under the bus.
Yeah.
Because when your owner sits there and goes, well, I didn't want Keon Coleman, but the head coach made me, you look incompetent. You look like an asshole. And now, who's going to want to coach your team and your organization, even with Josh Allen?
Yeah.
I was floored by this decision. I'm not saying, we have talked about extensively that I think sometimes we get too stuck in coaches coaching certain teams. Sometimes you need a change in leadership. You need a change in message. Statistically, a head coach quarterback combo that makes the Super Bowl will do it in their first 5 years together. If they don't ever. That's just historical fact. So I'm not saying it wasn't right to move on. How this was gone about and why makes you look dysfunctional.
Yeah, I never thought of the Bills as a dysfunctional organization. That press conference has flipped that for
You
me because
do now.
that was pretty woof. Like, damn, that was an interesting choice. Interesting choice.
Even Jerry Jones throws people under the bus less than that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of. I think he has
He
other
was.
issues, but yeah.
I think he doesn't, but that was insane.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those. And to be fair, when listening to it, you can't if you watch the press conference, at least when I watched it, I couldn't hear the questions very well that the reporters were asking.
Yeah.
So I can't speak on whether he did this like without being asked. I think he was, but still, this is kind of insane.
It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was insane. Good luck.
Yeah.
Good
Good
luck.
luck.
Especially with the Patriots making the rise they're making.
With a competent organization.
So,
because they have
like
proven
the definition of stability in the NFL.
Like, they went 3 years without being good, and they were like, nope. Let's go. We gotta fix this shit.
And they're getting ready to be in the AFC Championship game.
And honestly, probably the Super Bowl. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about.
We'll get there.
Because I wouldn't have said that until about 5 minutes after that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is insane. I'm really hoping though. I will say this. I had a list of who I wanted as my next head coach.
And that list got
bigger.
One
of them is off the market.
Yeah, we'll get there.
One of them, I don't think is going to take a head coaching job. I would like McDermott.
That would be a pretty solid turnaround option.
Yes, please.
Like,
so
fair enough.
Steve Bisciotti.
Can't argue.
Get on that.
Like,
I know you've already done a bunch of interviews. Let's just sneak him in there. Let's
just add one.
Let's just.
You already said you wanted to take a while.
You interviewed Joe Brady, and that's great. But let's.
Maybe you hire Joe Brady to be the offense coordinator and McDermott to be the head coach. That can be fine.
So, let's do that.
If Joe Brady is the head coach of the Bills, which honestly might happen. That
would be insane. I wouldn't do that. But that's just me. Whatever.
I think they're going to go Dayball, but that's just a whole other thing.
I think so.
Next is a coordinator, a very I'm going to say interesting hire. The Lions are hiring Drew Petzing to be their next offensive coordinator. Um, I think if you talk to anybody in Arizona, they would call this stupid.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
I don't. I honestly don't know.
I will say you're at least now going to get competency throughout the organization because I'm not sure that last year's struggles are on him.
Or I guess we're gonna find out.
I'm not sure where they lie. So we're going to find out.
We're gonna find out if he's just not a good coordinator. So
Or if
um,
Arizona is just really a terrible franchise. I'm
the
going to bet.
I'll bet one way. Yeah. Also, like the Lions made this decision very quickly in terms of like when they
Well,
actually and like announced it.
and they interviewed other people. So I am curious how they got here. So
But I wonder if this was they didn't get who they wanted and they went this direction type thing.
maybe.
Who knows? Um, Next is the Dolphins. Have hired Jeff Halfley, the Packers defense coordinator, to be their next head coach. This kind of comes as little surprise after the Dolphins hired the assistant GM of the Packers to be their next GM, and he
Yeah.
was leading the search. So I wonder where he's going to look for his new head coach. You had a pretty good shot if you were betting on a Packer. So, um, truthfully, don't know a ton about the guy. I want to say he was the head coach of Boston College most recently, other than being the Packers' defensive coordinator. So, does have some head coach experience. It is just in college football. And as we said,
Yeah.
the NFL doesn't really hire college football coaches, but he did go to the NFL for a year to be a coordinator. Um, and did have that Packers defense playing really well until Parsons went out. So, and they had some other injuries. So, we'll kind of see. I don't really know what this means for the Dolphins. At least for the Dolphins, they're going to an organization and hiring people that are traditionally from an organization that is successful and stable. So,
Yeah. Um look, I don't know enough about him to say if this is good or not. I am more concerned about this being good for him than him being good for them.
yeah,
You have massive quarterback problems. You have a massive roster problem.
massive.
And I would hope that with a new GM and head coach combo and you both having a relationship with each other, that you would be given some time
I
because you're going to need it.
I think that
Um,
is something that's going to happen. I don't think this is going
and
to be
then
a
I
quick.
think who you bring off in offensively will say a lot. So
I have a guess. We'll kind of see where they go.
who do
Um,
you guess?
I think they go with Mike LaFleur,
Oh, okay.
who is the offensive coordinator for the Rams. However, he does not call plays, which makes it so that he can make the move.
Yeah.
They can't block it because he would be the play caller. Unless McVay did some shenanigans, which he always does, and that's why they can keep their offensive play callers a lot of the time, is he like gives them play calling duties for one game to say that he's done it. It's just a weird loophole. I kind of hate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen, but I'm not sure. It would
I
make
guess we
sense.
will find out.
Brother of the guy that you were just coaching under,
Yeah.
kind of makes sense.
Fair.
Um, Next is the Titans have
Hate this.
hired their next head coach. In my opinion, this is a fantastic hire for them. They're getting Robert Saleh, the 49ers defensive coordinator. Um, I think this is like one of the best hires so far. He's a fantastic coordinator. Coming from a really good well, I shouldn't say good organization. Coming from a good tree, obviously has the Shanahan, so he got pretty direct line to a decent offensive coordinator. So kind of see where he goes there. But I think giving Saleh a chance to actually have a quarterback is a pretty decent idea.
So I want to be really clear about this. I fucking hate this. Hate it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain why. One, he was like top of my list.
Yeah.
he was like the main person I wanted. So there's that. Two, the Titans are dysfunctional as shit.
Yeah.
And they have been for a long time. And ever since that one VP took over, she's been a train wreck, right? Vrabel lost a losing battle with a GM. They've had 2 GMs since then. They can't get the head coach right. They won't give any time. I think you have questions about Cam Ward. There's just a lot of problems. And I think Saleh can be a really good head coach. He is a great defensive coordinator. What he did with that defense all year, despite their injuries, I think he's a great person. He has a lot of energy. He brings a lot of enthusiasm to the position. Great hire.
Yeah.
Titans are a train wreck. And I think Saleh deserves to go to an organization that is stable, that will give him time, and you have a proven commodity and quarterback, which is why I wanted him in Baltimore. Now, I'm not getting that, but I just think for him, I don't know that this was the best move.
For
if
him,
you can't make this work, you are probably out of opportunities.
I'm afraid that if he doesn't make this work, he'll get the Josh McDaniels treatment.
Yeah.
And there are two very different scenarios there, but I think that's what's going to happen.
Same concept. And I think I would not have bet my last option or opportunity on a dysfunctional organization.
Now, I will say, if you're Saleh, I don't know if this is going to be your last. You're a pretty young guy, and you're never not going to have a job as long as Kyle Shanahan is a head coach.
I think he'll have a job. Head coaching opportunity, I'm just not so sure. Yeah, so, that's look, good luck to him. I do think he's a good head coach. I'm excited to see what he does. This just, one, wasn't what I wanted on a personal stance. And two, I just think he deserves a competent, stable organization. And the Titans have not been that the last few years.
Yeah. All right.
So,
keeping it rolling.
But for them, I think they're getting a good head coach.
Keeping it rolling. A guy that I kind of thought Saleh was going to be after to be his OC. Mike McDaniel, the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, has agreed to be the offensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Chargers and Jim Harbaugh. So, replacing Greg Roman, I think this is honestly a brilliant hire.
I think it's a great hire. I think him and Mike McDaniel have really similar offensive schemes in terms of what they want to do.
And he knows how to build a run game and build it well.
Yeah.
And you give him a legit quarterback. I think this makes a ton of sense. There are still some issues in LA. The offensive line being the major one. But I think we kind of saw in Miami that he can kind of scheme around some bad offensive line play. So,
well, and you hope that most of that offensive line play was injury based, not talent based. So you hope they come back healthy. You get someone that is consistent, because I think that's something that Greg Roman struggles with. So I think this is a great hire. I think when you look at your combos, head coach, coordinator, I think this is one of the best pairs.
Right now.
And to have Justin Herbert at quarterback, I think the AFC West is going to be a very interesting division.
Yeah, it'll definitely. We'll kind of see. Um, I don't think the Chiefs will be there next year, but that is really just because they don't have him for most of the year. So
I don't know. He
it
did
does
an
take
interview the other
steam
day that
out
his
of.
current goal is to start the season. So we'll see. I don't know.
We'll see.
I kind of doubt it, but
And then I believe the last piece of coaching news, unless something's happened upon us recording, is the Vikings have signed an extension for defensive coordinator Brian Flores. Now, Tom Pelissero, who was the one to report this first, is saying Flores is still a candidate for the Steelers and Ravens head coaching jobs, but if he does not get one of those, he is now under contract to stay in Minnesota. So there is still a chance he gets a head coaching job, but I think based on the fact that you're signing this or have this
now,
deal in place, I don't necessarily think he signed it. I think he has a deal in place. I
yeah,
could be wrong. It does say signed, and Pelissero does normally make a point of saying signed versus agreed.
mm-hmm.
Um, so maybe he's already signed it. But I think just based on the timing of this, I would guess he does not get a head coaching job.
I would guess he doesn't take one or want one. Um, he was kind of guy number 2 on my want list. I'm going to be honest. He was high up there. Head coaching experience, defensive minded. Yes, I do want a defensive minded head coach. I would like just a good offensive coordinator. I do
Which
not
makes
want
sense.
my OC distracted. Um, and there are a lot of young, inexperienced OCs on the market, and that's not quite what I want right now, especially in the middle of Lamar's prime. So I wanted an experienced head coach, and I wanted a defensive-minded head coach. So Flores was kind of guy. I wanted Saleh, then Flores. We are going to get into option number 3 that is still a possibility, other than McDermott. Um, I I think with how things went in Miami, I think he's just happy to be part of a competent organization in
Yeah,
Minnesota. He has a good head coach. He has great talent around him. And the stress falls to somebody else. He can just do the job he needs to do. And he's good at it. I don't
that
think he
is,
wants a head coaching job, despite how much teams or fans might want him. And that's what this tells me.
and I think that's a fair way to look at that. I think that's it for the breaking news.
I did
Um,
double check. Uh, Nothing else has come out.
in terms, we'll kind of cover the major injuries in the games themselves. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll get to those in a second. But I think that's it for breaking news. So we'll kind of get into divisional weekend that just happened.
Hell
So
yeah. Alrighty. Well, we will start with the first game of the weekend, and that was Bills at Broncos. Um, Broncos do get the win, 33-30 in overtime with a walk-off field goal. There's just so much to talk about with this game. I'm going to start with just overall. The Broncos were the better team. I know the score was close, and that comes from Josh Allen being able to make great plays in certain moments.
Not so
But
great in
this
others.
loss is Josh Allen's fault. And to lay it at anyone else's feet is fanboy bullshit. 2 lost fumbles and 2 interceptions, one of which we're going to talk about, is unacceptable. You have to win the turnover battle. You can't lose football games. And a lot of those came from unnecessary moments, unnecessary desires to try and force it or push it down the field. Wasn't necessary.
That one before the half, just
Yeah,
you
the
can't
fumble before the half and the fumble right after the half.
you can't have that. You just can't.
They were unnecessary. And I understand we want to yell about their wide receiver room. The best talent they have is their O-line. They have one of the best O-lines. Josh Allen, James Cook, and their 2 tight ends. That's an 11-man personnel. And they couldn't get it done. He missed open throws. It was not a good game. And I think it was one of his worst in the playoff. And to lose again in the divisional round without Mahomes and without Lamar, it's just not acceptable.
Yeah, this one was tough.
As for the final interception that everyone wants to yell about, the definition of a catch says you must possess control of the ball through the ground. He did not possess control. When you watch it in slow motion, frame by frame, it looks like it. But when you watch it in real time, in real speed, you know he bobbled it. So when he's down on the ground, the ball is not dead because he does not possess it. So the Broncos defensive coordinator that can snatch it and possess control through the ground has possession. I'm sorry, but that is the way the rule is written. It is written that way because of one of Brendan's favorite wide receivers. So if you would like to talk Calvin Johnson, we can do that. But you must possess it through the ground.
Yeah.
That's it. So, yes, it was an interception. I understand being frustrated at the timing. I do understand that. I understand wanting to take more time to look at it and not being happy with being told, hey, we've already delayed the second game, so we need to just move this along. But slowing it down or taking more time would not have helped you. It was the right call. Move on. It was also a wildly unnecessary throw. Already in field goal range. Just needed the kick. We went back to pushing because that is unfortunately Josh Allen's Achilles heel.
Yeah.
Is forcing it. And that's what happened. Denver then drives down the field and what I think makes multiple stupid decisions. In field goal range, well, driving down the field. Actually, I'm sorry, let's back up. Let's talk about the Bills some more. To then get extremely pissed off and throw a helmet at the feet of the ref.
Yeah, that one
is ridiculous. 2 pass interference calls. I understand one of them being a little sus. They were pass interference. One of which might have been more hand fighting. I understand frustration. Throwing a helmet at the ref, basically,
is not going to
help you ever. Ever. You will never get your way. Kind of shot yourselves in the foot. And then speaking of feet, we were in field goal range. The run he made was not necessary. He then takes a knee to get the ball center.
It didn't happen on that play.
It was when he ran.
It was not the one. It was the ran where he lost 2 yards when they were outside of field goal range right before that second PI. It was that run where he goes to the left. Not the one where he centered the ball.
Because I thought it was... No, I know. So he centered the ball, but right before that he runs.
Yeah, it was 2 plays prior to that. It was that one right before the second PI. Because he throws that ball with the broken ankle.
Oh, I thought it happened...
No, it happens...
on that last run.
No, it happens on the one before that. So he runs the one to the left, and that's when he gets his ankle broken. And then he throws that deep ball, so I can't remember who, that draws the PI call near the end zone that has the guy lose his mind and throw the helmet.
Okay. Yeah,
so
I
those
thought he
2
did
plays. Yeah, it was
that.
that.
So then never mind on my rant.
Yeah.
Never mind.
I still don't like the play call that he broke his ankle on, but it was at least like a normal play call.
And he is a running quarterback. Or he's a mobile quarterback. So, very unfortunate. It's terrible timing. We are going to talk about the other game. After that performance, I would have bet money the Broncos were going to the Super Bowl.
I think the only thing they have going for them, honestly,
not so
they don't
much.
have. Maybe the Patriots keep up their weakness against backup quarterbacks, but
maybe
I don't love their chances.
I thought the Broncos were going to the Super Bowl,
and
I respect Sean Payton calling the press back in to tell them about Bo Nix's ankle. I appreciate the timing on that.
I think just ripping the Band-Aid off was probably the best choice.
If you're a Broncos fan, which I am, and I had kind of decided to ride with them these playoffs, this was crushing.
It was tough. Even as a fan of a different team in the playoffs, that one was tough. That, like, for the Broncos to feel that high of we are 1 win away, to then have that just completely stripped away.
Just to have the rug pulled out from under you. And for Bo Nix's perspective, to really only play one playoff game, to make the AFC Championship as the 1 seed, and you don't get to start that game, that's really hard, and I feel really bad for him. I really appreciate and respect the message he put out. I thought it was really great. It shows sportsmanship. It shows leadership. And I'm excited for what this team will do in the future. I do think the buck stops here.
Yeah.
I will say also before we continue, I did pick every game correctly. I did pick Broncos. I picked Patriots. I picked Rams, and I picked Seahawks.
I picked it all correctly for this one, and then for whatever reason, with my friends, I picked the Texans. Made that mistake.
That's crazy. Here's what I'll say. When the
fair.
game started, I thought I was wrong. I was going to be wrong. But we'll get into that next. For now, we will move on to the second game on Saturday, which was Rams.
Yeah.
Bears.
No, they were Saturday was Seahawks 49ers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So yeah, the second Saturday game was Seahawks 49ers. And it wasn't much of a game, if we're being honest. It was over in the first 13 seconds. The Seahawks.
That score would have ended. They could have won.
Yeah, it was genuinely over in the first 13 seconds. For context, I was shitting bricks the whole week. And especially that day, I was nervous. I was confident the Seahawks were going to win. But I also could not live with the possibility that they were going to lose. Because you cannot lose to the 49ers, like, at all. I just can't have it. So for the Seahawks to pretty much completely alleviate all stress by returning that opening kick was awesome. Especially because I had no idea what was going on. So, for context, I had the Bills-Broncos game on, which obviously ran a little late, going to overtime. I was also working on homework. So I turned the TV onto the Seahawks game, but I had the volume down really low because I was working on homework. And before I could turn it up, they had returned the touchdown. So I had no idea what the flag was, had no idea what the fuck was going on, and had this moment of pure excitement followed by, fuck, there's a flag. Because I immediately assumed there was a holding, a block in the back, something to take this touchdown away. No, it was just the kicker trying to slide tackle the returner for some reason. Not really sure what was going through the kicker's mind in that moment, but he tried. He tried. So yeah. Obviously, awesome. Love that. And then the rest of the game was pretty much all Seattle. Charbonnet did unfortunately get hurt. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Darnold going into the game with that oblique injury did have me a little more nervous. But did not have to throw the ball a whole ton. Did have the one nice touchdown pass to JSN. Other than that, really didn't do anything. And he didn't need to. Kind of just had to stand there while Kenneth Walker had 19 carries, 116 yards, and 3 touchdowns. When you have Walker going for a hat trick, you can pretty much just sit there and do nothing. And when, again, you score enough points in the first 13 seconds to win the game, as the 49ers only had 6 points the whole game, yeah, it does help. So yeah, awesome for the Seahawks. Defensively, they just kind of kicked the 49ers' ass from start to finish. I kind of knew the Seahawks were going to win the game when they returned the kick. The 49ers had the ball, got stopped on 4th down on just a terrible play call. Don't know what Shanahan was saying on that one. That like weird give check the ball to maybe pitch it to McCaffrey. That was just not smart.
That was
a choice.
God help us, we're fucking trying.
Yeah, we don't even have a chance. We're just gonna hope.
We don't have a fucking plan right now.
So they did that. Seahawks get the ball back, kick a field goal, give it back to the 49ers, cause the first fumble of the game, go down the field and score the touchdown. At that point, I was pretty confident this game was over. The 49ers at that point did get 2 field goals, but I was still relatively confident. And then going into half with the score 24-6, I was feeling better. I was feeling good.
Yeah.
And then, second half, outscore them 17-0. just kind of put the icing on the cake. Um, Nothing better than absolutely kicking the shit out of a division rival. Um, was pretty excited about that. But truthfully, this game, again, just because of how bad the 49ers are and with the injuries they have, doesn't mean a whole ton to me. Um, this is what you want, and this is what you would expect in the playoffs against this team with the injuries they have coming off a bye week. This is what you want to see. Um, but again, for the Seahawks to be able to take care of business and be able to pull the starters in the fourth quarter was awesome. So, really, beyond that, not a whole ton.
I had one thought on this game. And for better or worse, it is how it looked to me, which was Sam Darnold, I think, has been great. And I think he has absolutely rewritten his career these last 2 years. However, there are still questions about his ability to play in big moments and his ability against specific teams. Hold on.
I'm not going to say anything. So
Their game against the Rams
is going to be very
was
different.
not fantastic. Their last game against the Rams was not fantastic. And he struggled, but they were kind of bailed out by some weird things. It felt like the whole team went, okay, the offense might fuck up. So we need to make sure that we play the best possible football we can play. And so the special teams and the defense went out there and fucking dominated.
Yeah.
So that the offense didn't matter. Honestly, it didn't matter.
It didn't.
They played well.
Awesome.
Walker played really well, but you needed the one score from Shaheed to win this game.
Yeah, no, it's not like...
The defense played phenomenally, taking the ball. It was a great game. Very upset that Mike McDonald has left. And I just wish we'd made this decision a couple years ago. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. Happy for the Seahawks. Also, go fuck yourselves.
That was definitely a theme of the weekend, by the way.
But it was a great performance. And if they can maintain this, they are undoubtedly the best team in the league. And I hope that carries through.
So I did want to comment on this, because I completely agree. I think for the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl, they have to take the Eagles' approach from last year. It's got to be the defense. It's got to be the run game. You cannot put it on Darnold's plate. Now, a lot of Eagles fans, for some reason, don't know why, on Twitter have been giving a ton of shit about everyone complaining that, like, the Seahawks have recognized that Darnold is, like, a top 15 but not top 5 quarterback and don't want him to go win it. Like, don't want him to be the reason they win, because I don't think he's going to be. So a lot of Eagles fans have been commenting on how different the commentary's been in terms of, like, from last year to this year. I think the difference is Seahawks fans have really been like, we don't want the game to be on Darnold's shoulders because we know Darnold is like a top 15 quarterback, not a top 5 quarterback.
The difference is very much how the two fan bases discuss their quarterbacks.
And, like, the Eagles sit here and say Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback. And that is very not true. So, yeah, for the Seahawks, I need, like, it has to be led by the defense. If the special teams contributes, great. I'll be the first to admit, I don't expect the special teams to win football games. Like, it...
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Like, it's great. The kick return touchdown was awesome, perfect. Couldn't ask for more to start the game.
Great.
That's not going to happen very often.
That's not like the norm, despite what Rashid Shaheed would like you to believe.
Yeah, that is his third return with the Seahawks. Like, let's be clear here. And he was traded mid-season, so like.
And he had, I think, 2 with the Saints.
Yeah, so like
1 or 2 with the Saints.
We're looking at maybe the next Devin Hester, which is kind of crazy to say considering how good Devin Hester was. Is a Hall of Famer just because of how good he was at kick and punt returns. But that's beyond the point. So yeah, I don't expect that every week. It has to start and end pretty much with the defense. I don't think you're going to rely on Darnold to win you games. Now, I do think Darnold has to do more than what he did against the 49ers, but again, in the scenario with the injury going into the week, which if I wasn't nervous already, hearing that...
It didn't help. Didn't help.
Like, okay. Was it Friday? Or was it Thursday or Friday that I got hurt? I think it was Thursday.
Thursday?
I come home from school on Thursday. I don't look at my phone when I'm at school. I have better things to do. I come home. I open my phone. The first notification I read is Sam Darnold taken out of practice with an oblique injury. To tell you the, like, moment of, like, aw, fuck I had. Because, yeah, Darnold might not be top 5, but he's at least top 15. And going from him to Drew Lock.
It's not.
So again, I think Drew Lock wins this football game, but that's a whole other thing. Like, that's just, like...
Yeah.
But in order for Seattle to win the Super Bowl, Darnold's going to have to do more than 12 for 17, 124, and a touchdown. But again, I don't think they're going to ask him to only throw for 17 times against the Rams.
He's going to have to do more.
Again, we'll see. You could find yourself in a scenario, I guess, where they dominate on defense again, get out to an early lead. Then sure. Unfortunately, I just don't see that happening. So, yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. So,
I think that is the Super Bowl. I think that will be the best game of these playoffs.
Yeah. Round 3.
So, well, we will move to Sunday's 2 games. Once again, started with... Right?
Yeah, it did start with the AFC.
Yeah. Started with the Texans at the Patriots. Patriots get the win 28-16. I picked this game. I did pick the Patriots to win. When the game started, I thought the Texans were going to win. What that tells me, and what this game told me, is I have vastly underestimated the Patriots' defense.
I don't know how much I underestimated the Patriots' defense and overestimated C.J. Stroud not taking a shit on national television.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
That's really...
For the second week in a row, C.J. Stroud had a terrible game. Multiple fumbles, multiple interceptions. It just was not good. Not good. I do not think his O-line has helped him. But I do think he should have been benched for Davis Mills.
Okay. You throw 4 interceptions. At some point, that's on you.
Yeah.
And a couple of those were like, just throw the ball in the dirt. Just throw it out of bounds. In the dirt. Take the sack. Do anything but what you did.
Just don't throw the ball to the other team. I think there are real questions right now at quarterback for the Texans. I think they have a real problem at O-line, and I think that has made your quarterback skittish and not processing well. As for the Patriots, this was a defensive performance. Drake May had a couple really great throws and a couple really great moments.
but he wasn't
We are
much better.
still seeing the nerves and what he is like against great defenses. Several fumbles. He didn't lose all of them, so that is something.
He had 4 and lost 2, so 50%.
Yeah. So, still not great. I do think that it's still a vast improvement from what they've had. I think the main question I have is, when does Robert Kraft's deal with the devil run out?
It doesn't.
Because there was the theory, right, or the fact that the Patriots played one of the easiest schedules in terms of strength of schedule in modern day football, in the Super Bowl era, to then make the playoffs. And then in the playoffs, have played easy fucking schedules. Like, what's happening? Like, you play CJ Stroud, who can't hold on to the ball. You get the AFC, the 1 seed in the AFC, with their backup quarterback. You played the Chargers with a busted O-line in the wild card round. Like, like, I understand, right, that to win a championship, a couple things have to fall your way. But fucking everything falls your way all the time? Why? What is that? So congratulations to the Patriots. A little bitter.
Yeah, yeah.
Because what the fuck?
Like,
you drew an easy schedule, and then I'm not saying, like, playoff football is hard, right? Everybody's trying. But the Chargers are wrecked with injury. The Texans are just not good, right?
Yeah.
They have a terrible offense.
CJ Stroud decided
quarterback
to turn the ball
can't hold on to a fucking football. And then you get the 1 seed. You get the 1 seed, who is a good team, is far better than the other two you've played, and that defense is going to be in his face all day long. But you get them with Jared Stidham.
Yeah,
their
former quarterback, Jared Stidham.
I just want to know when his deal runs out.
I don't know. Also, side note, because I was looking at it. The QBR for the game, like between the two of them, is pathetic. Yeah. Here's the really crazy part. CJ Stroud has a better QBR than Drake May in the game. CJ Stroud QBR was a 21.1. He had 4 interceptions. He turned the ball over 4 times. Drake May turned the ball over 3 times and had a 20.8. I'm very confused. And then, like, their rating, CJ Stroud had a 28 rating, but Drake May had a 100.7. So I'm just baffled by the numbers I'm reading on the screen.
I don't.
Like, CJ Stroud's numbers make sense, but I think, all in all, you have to give Drake May some more credit than that. He definitely played better than Stroud. The fact that Stroud had a higher QBR, the fact that Stroud had a better QBR is fucking insane.
I mean,
how you justify that, I don't know. Because he did not.
But it was not good.
Like, neither of them were good. But CJ Stroud turned the ball over 4 times, including a pick 6.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
I don't know.
Look, I thought Patriots-Broncos was going to be a good game. I thought the Broncos would be the AFC champions. I would no longer put money on that opinion.
Hey. Remember,
I think it's possible.
Remember, the Patriots' weakness is backup quarterbacks in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to remember
Yeah,
that.
and that's great and all. Uh, don't think it's gonna happen that way.
Probably not. Probably. It's a little funny, but no, not gonna happen.
But I mean, look, I think Drake May is a good quarterback. I think he's young. I think he's done a lot with this team, and congratulations to him. Um, the Texans
Have some
have real
real
problems.
things to look at this offseason.
So,
Because, yeah, D'Amico Ryans has been with them for 3 years. All 3 years he's made it to the divisional. All 3 years he's failed to make it past the divisional. So, take that for what you will.
yeah. I am not sure that is a D'Amico Ryan problem.
I don't think so either. I'm just telling you the
Yeah.
situation they have currently. And then the last game of the weekend was Sunday Night Football. Rams Bears. Rams win 20-17. We're gonna start with the Rams because I feel like I have more to say about the Bears, even
That
though they
was the
lost.
best catch
We'll
and
talk about
throw
it. We'll
of
get
my
there.
lifetime.
We'll get there. On the Ram side, they get the win, and not going to discredit that at all. You went into Chicago in that weather and got the win. But they did not look particularly good, like at all. Kyron Williams was held to under 100 yards. Did have 2 touchdowns, but held to under 100 yards in that weather. Stafford did not look particularly good. Nakua did not look particularly good. Nobody on that team looked good, except for their defense. And really, their defense only looked good when intercepting the ball. They did get 3 of those. One of them was a very important one in overtime. Again, we will talk more about the Bears and Caleb Williams in a second. But, like, the Rams, I feel like, have not been playing their best football, which is weird to say, considering that I thought they were the second 2 best team, like, top 2 best teams in the NFL this season. And then they've decided that they're just not going to play their best football when it matters the most. So, not sure what's going on there with the Rams. On the Bears side, fair enough for keeping the game close. Didn't really think you had a chance. But I think we saw the problems with the Bears. When the defense cannot turn the ball over, they're not going to win. And they did not get turnovers. Part of that was I think the Rams got extremely lucky. A lot of the fumbles the Rams had just bounced right back to them. So, getting a little lucky, but still. I do think for the Bears, we saw what Caleb Williams actually is. I've never seen a quarterback make the hardest throws look so unbelievably easy, and some of the easy throws look unbelievably hard. And that's what we saw. We saw him make one of the most insane throws I've ever seen. For him to run
best of my lifetime
20 yards backwards off his back foot leaning on like a fadeaway to just launch it to the end zone and it drop into the tight end's bucket. Now, don't get me wrong, the Rams player played it like shit. Like, let's be completely honest here. But the ball was still perfect to the tight end. And then you go into overtime. You stop the Rams offense in overtime and get the ball. And all you have to do is get into field goal range. And you just kind of flutter a ball out there. I've seen a lot, and I do think DJ Moore shares some blame on this. Because no, DJ Moore did not run the right route, did not run it with good intensity, jogged, did not take a good angle, all those things. It was not a good route from DJ Moore. But that throw from Caleb Williams also wasn't good. And that's a throw from what we saw going into overtime to that is a throw you have to make. And that's the insane part to me, is the how he can make some of the hardest throws look so easy, and yet some of the routine ones just don't look right and aren't good.
Most incredible throw and catch of my lifetime. It was beautiful. I thought there was no fucking way. If you, the viewers, if you've ever watched the show, Friday Night Lights, right? It's a small football school in Texas. And the show starts with this team's like championship game. And their star quarterback gets hurt. Because they bring in this little scrawny backup that nobody likes and nobody believes in. And he's got to throw a Hail Mary pass. And it's an incredible pass, right? Just down the field, guy catches it. Everyone says after that, they're like, I bet he had his eyes closed. And the coach asks him. He goes to his house. Again, small town, Texas, set in like the 90s, early 2000s, all right? The coach asks him, did you have your eyes closed? And he said, no. On the broadcast, watching that game, they said, they're like, that's an eyes closed, pray to the gods kind of pass. I don't think he had his eyes closed, and it was beautiful. It was fantastic. For all of my criticisms of Caleb Williams, that moment is why he was drafted first overall.
And I will give him that.
Like you said, the easy stuff seems to be difficult. I am hopeful that now that him and Ben Johnson are on the same page, going into a second year of the same offense, it's those things they can work on. I think this was a great thing to build on, a great year to build on. I think if you're a Bears fan, this is the most hope you've had
in forever.
Ever. It's been fantastic to see. I have a lot of respect for what Caleb has done and a lot of respect for what Ben Johnson has done. I also think we saw just kind of Ben Johnson's inexperience.
Yeah,
to
those
go
fourth
head-to-head
those fourth
with
down play
LaFleur
calls
and McVay. A lot to learn from.
Yeah. His fourth down play calling was not good.
Yeah, it was not great. As for that, I understand the people that are kind of upset that they kicked on that final touchdown, not went for two. They had not had success on fourth down, and they had not had success past the 5-yard line. So it was the right call. I think they played really well defensively. I think there's a lot to be excited here as a Bears fan. And as a football fan, to see what they've done in such a short time is impressive. And I don't think the Rams have played up to themselves, but rather down to their opponent, and that's about to get them in trouble if they keep this up.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, we have more to talk about upcoming games, but yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was a good game. I thought it was going to be a little bit more high scoring.
I did too. I think that was a lot to do with the weather.
It was very much a defensive effort. It's distracting. But
we're almost
congratulations to the Rams, and I think the Bears fans should just be happy.
Yeah, I think the Bears fans, this has to have exceeded expectation for the season. So,
yeah,
that's always a good thing. Maybe not always, but probably a good thing. All right. Well, I think that does it for divisional weekend. Quickly, just look ahead at the two games coming up for
Yeah.
conference championships. We'll start with the Broncos and the Patriots.
Yeah. Broncos are still the 1 seed. So they do get the home game. That is Sunday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. Um, I would have bet money on the Broncos. Unfortunately, with Bo
Probably,
Nix
yeah.
out, I am going to go with the Patriots in this regard. The Broncos have a great defense. I don't know that it's good enough. Even with maybe Drake May's faults, that would be kind of their best option. And if they can really get the run game going. But more of the offense is Bo Nix reliant. And I'm just not sure you can plug and play the
Yeah,
way
I
they
don't.
need to now. So
I don't think you can. So
I am still rooting for Denver. I think it will be the Patriots.
I think so too. I'm taking the Patriots in that one. Um, on the NFC side, you have the Seahawks and the Rams at 3:30 p.m. Pacific on Sunday. Quick bits of notes for Seahawks in terms of injuries and stuff. Um, Obviously, during the game against the 49ers, Charbonnet went out of the game with a knee injury. I was so hopeful that this wasn't bad. It didn't seem like it. Seemed like it might just be like a bruise or something because he got back on the bike later in the game and seemed like he could have come back in if needed. But then imaging after the game has shown that he tore his ACL. So he is done for the season and likely done for the most of next season. So really unfortunate there for Zach Charbonnet. Big part of the Seahawks offense and their run game. So don't love to see that, but hopefully he can come back next year stronger than ever. So I'm continuing with injury front. They did announce that George Holani, the running back, um, has had his window opened on his IR, so he can start practicing again. This is big news considering the Charbonnet news. So hopefully, it sounds like he should be good to go for the game, and that will be the Seahawks' last IR activation when he's back. So if you were hoping for Torrey Horton to come back, that's not going to happen. Um, I do also believe that means Arroyo and Surratt are both unable to return. So we'll kind of see there, but it is good news that we're getting Holani back, as we do kind of need another running back behind Kenneth Walker. As I think our options are Walker, Holani, Velus Jones, and Cam Akers. Um, so not great if Walker were to get hurt. So good news there. And then the injury report from today has left me shitting myself because not we kind of knew Charles Cross left the game a little earlier than expected with an injury against the 49ers. Had been dealing with injuries for the past couple weeks now. This time it's a foot injury, but he did not practice today. The backup left tackle, Josh Jones, has been out for the past couple of weeks with an ankle knee injury. He did not practice today. And then Amari Kite, the third string left tackle that came into the game for Charles Cross, also did not participate in practice today with a knee injury, meaning the Seahawks are down to their fourth string left tackle if none of these guys are good to go for the weekend. That does not fill me with a ton of confidence, as I want to say the fourth string, as our options would be to play Gray Zabel at left tackle. He's the left guard. You can play him at left tackle. That is what he played in college. So that's an option. And then fill in the guard roles. That's an option. I do believe they also have Mason Richmond, their 7th round pick. Can, I think, play left tackle. I know he played right tackle most of college. So maybe he can slide over. And then they also have another guy on the practice squad that is a UDFA rookie. So not looking great if Cross, Jones, or Kite can't go. So want to put that
Yeah.
out there. Praying one of them gets healthy. Hopefully it's Charles Cross. Amari Kite did do all right when he came into the game for Cross, but also, again, he came in late in that third quarter when the game was practically over already. So I I don't know. I'm terrified.
And the Rams defense is going to be better.
Yeah, I don't want to have to watch a UDFA rookie or a 7th round rookie that's never played a game have to block Jared Verse. Not on my bucket list right now. So there's that. Now that kind of news is out of the way, um, with the Seahawks being at home, the season series between these two teams has been decided by a combined 3 points. The total aggregate score, the Rams lead by 1 point. These two teams are about as closely matched as you can possibly get on the season. So I really have no idea. Seattle being at home is a big deal. They did just beat the Rams at home. We saw that atmosphere in playoff for the divisional. And again, I think Seattle has peaked in terms of playing their best football at the right time compared to the Rams, who I do not think are playing their best football right now. So, with all that being said, I'm going to take the Seahawks. But again, this is probably the closest game in terms of what the season has told us so far that I've seen in a long time. And
Yeah.
I've been saying for a while that there was going to be a round 3 between these two teams and that it is going to be an incredible game, and I hope it does not disappoint.
I think it will be an incredible game. For me, as just a fan of football, I do not think there's a bad outcome. There's an element of Darnold and McDonald getting to the Super Bowl and getting a win. We would talk about that then, but getting to a Super Bowl. And I think there's something very redeeming and very uplifting on that. And I think the Seahawks have been the best team in the NFL this year. For the Rams' perspective, this is a legacy moment for Stafford.
Yeah.
I think he is likely to be league MVP. This would be 2 Super Bowl wins. This season is a gold jacket. That's what's on the line. It's not a Super Bowl win. It's a gold jacket.
And I think he
Stafford
gets it regardless, but with this season, he would absolutely first ballot himself.
I am not 100% on first ballot right now. If you can get this done,
I think if
it is a guarantee.
If he wins the Super Bowl and MVP in the same season, having already won a,
I think 5 people have ever done,
and he already has the Super Bowl, I think he's absolutely put himself into first ballot conversation.
That is a guaranteed first ballot.
So
I think it would be fantastic for Devontae to get a ring.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Rodgers' ring comes before him.
Yes.
So for just a fan of football, if this is a good game, there is, for me, not a bad outcome. Yes, I will be
That's
rooting for the
fair.
Seahawks. Yes, I understand Brennan's position on the matter. I wish this was the Super Bowl.
I
This,
do
I
too.
think, is going to be the best game of the playoffs.
I think
I
it's
think these are the two best teams, and I am very much looking forward to it.
I think it's very telling that this game, um, I'm on ESPN right now. They have it 53.8% Seattle wins, 46.2. Very close there. The
Yeah.
spread is Seattle 2.5.
Yeah.
This is about as close as it's gonna get without being even. And again, I
Well, you
think
said the aggregate point differential was 1. I think the aggregate yard differential is also 1.
they again I think have been
Like,
about as closely matched as you can be. The only thing I will say, the Rams have dominated on the turnover margin
yeah.
and in the sack margin. That's it.
So,
If the Seahawks cannot turn over the football and keep the ball, one could argue that they should win this game. Considering
so
that in the first game, they turned the ball over 4 times. In the second game, they turned it over 3 times. Nope. Yeah, 3. So if you don't turn the ball over, one would logically come to the conclusion you win.
Yep.
So we'll see.
I should be a great game. I'm just going to enjoy it. I will not have the stress that Brendan has.
I
I think it'll be a great game.
It's tough to say if I'm going to enjoy it.
I
I'm
am
going to be honest.
oof, I am going to take the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Seahawks in it.
I'm honestly kind of dreading. I just want it to be here. I wish you could just be like, flex it to Thursday.
Just tomorrow.
Fuck it. Let's go. Get this shit over with. Because I think currently it's the anticipation that is killing me. Because I do think this is going to be a fantastic game between two very evenly matched teams that there's a couple of things that like hold them apart, and we'll kind of see which one's more important come game time.
Yeah.
Because I think the Rams clearly have the better quarterback and offense, and I think the Seahawks clearly have the better defense. So we'll see what happens. The last time the number 1 passing quarterback went up against the number 1 scoring defense in the playoffs, it went very well in favor of Seattle.
It did.
So
it did.
Hopefully that happens again, but I doubt it. I doubt we're going to see that.
I don't think it's going to go quite that well.
It would be great for my blood pressure and heart rate and anxiety during the game.
If that game starts with a safety, though, I'm just going to turn it off. We've seen that before.
If it starts with a kick return touchdown, the Rams special team sucks. I'm just saying.
It's not great.
They fired their special teams coordinator like a week before the end of the season.
And it didn't help. Has not helped.
So maybe. I just want it. I want it to be here.
Alrighty. Well, with all of that, unless there was any other news, I do believe that does it for us.
There was actually. I did see it. The Chiefs have hired Eric Bieniemy to be their new offense coordinator, which means Matt Nagy is not returning, but it also doesn't look like he's going to get a head coaching job. So
shocker.
There was a minute there I thought he was going to go to Tennessee. There was a solid minute I thought he was going to go to Tennessee. So,
look, for Bieniemy, I think, and for the Chiefs, I think it's a great move. I think statistically, Mahomes' best seasons came under Bieniemy.
Yeah, it's worked. Again, I don't
So
think you're asking Bieniemy to be much, considering Andy Reid calls the plays, and I think that's better for Bieniemy, if
yeah,
we're being honest. So I think it'll work. That is, we've seen it
yeah,
work already. So that was it. I think that was the only other bits of news I had.
yep.
So if that's it, I think it does. I think that does it for us this week. So make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know who you got in this conference championship. Who do you think is going to be the eventual Super Bowl? If you don't say the Seahawks, you're banned from the channel. I'm kidding, but please God be the Seahawks. But yeah, let us know who you got in the Super Bowl. But with all that being said, I've been Brendan.
And I've been Dallas.
And this has been Flocksnet Sports Podcast. Thank y'all for joining. Peace.